Alright, I figured I gotta start my video at some point. We got Rachel out here at the Demitrie Gusti ethnographic, is that what it was?
Ethnographic, yeah.
Ethnographic open air open air museum here in Bucharest, Romania. We've actually been here for several days, and unfortunately we're both feeling a little down after coming from Spain, and we just decided to be lazy and hang out in the room for a few days. So so we finally gotten out on like day 3, and we decided we better get over to this museum that everyone recommends in their travel videos. It's actually about to close in like an hour and a half, but I think because it's the winter, a lot of the homes aren't actually open to enter. So the woman said it shouldn't take us more than an hour and a half, so we should be able to get everything in that we want to before we leave. But yeah, I just wanted to start my video here and let everyone know we're going to be exploring Romania for the next few days. Or at least Bucharest for the next few days. We'll be in Romania a little longer, so if you're interested, stay tuned, and we'll be posting a little bit as we go. So there's definitely plenty of information to be gained here, and it appears as if it is in what I would assume is Romanian and also English, which is perfect for us, being that obviously we're English speaking. Not every museum that we go to seems to have as much detail actually available for English speakers, so that's very nice. I do want to say one thing I'm a bit disappointed in, not my overall experience, but I did notice that to my knowledge, the fee to enter wasn't reduced in any way now that we're here in the winter, but you're actually limited in comparison to other portions of the season as far as what you can view, because a majority of the buildings are locked now. And I believe in other portions of the seasons, they would be actually open for you to go in and be able to enjoy the decoration, the traditional furniture and things that are inside. So not as much to see here in the season that we're in, but quite enjoyable nevertheless. I feel like it's a beautiful day that we were able to get out and walk around and check this place out. So certainly worth coming over to see. Really liking all the detail that went into this guy. Got a little bit of carvings here. All these shingles for the roof, what I believe are dovetails here. Pretty neat. So I wanted to mention the park has, I believe this museum portion anyway, has 100,000 meters squared of area, and it was first built in 1936, or it started in 1936 anyway, by Demitrie Gusti and a couple of other people. I've neglected their names now, but it was 272 buildings that have been placed here in this open air museum. So there's definitely quite a bit to see. And then just over there is the regular park. So we just left the open air museum, which is just back over there through all these trees and whatnot. But now we're here, just entered into the park from there into King Michael I Park, if I remember correctly. And we're just kind of strolling around. The buskers are out here. I believe actually over here they might be doing some karaoke, it sounds like. So we're gonna head over there and check it out. But thought we'd give a little view of this King Michael I Park as we exit out of the open air museum and kind of head out into Bucharest, walking around here. Little skate park here in this park that we've just entered into. Pretty nice, keeping it modern and giving the kids a little something to do. Get in here and keep themselves occupied. Those of you who are traveling with your skateboard or your bicycle, swing in.
Okay, so we just stopped at Quattro Stagioni, which is a restaurant that is on the borders of the King Michael I Park. It's kind of a nicer, upscaler restaurant, I would think. Not super fancy, but pretty good. I ordered a steak with a gorgonzola sauce. Should be pretty good, and that was about $13. AJ got a beef schnitzel with some french fries, and I think that was about $10. We also got a plate of bruschetta, which was, oh gosh, I don't even know, maybe $6 or something like that. So prices aren't too bad. But something to keep in mind if you want to have a nice little date night, fancier restaurant, those might be some prices you're looking at. Okay, so our food's arrived. We got a couple salads. Don't remember how much they are, but everything looks delicious. We're gonna dig into this and report back. So we just got back to our Airbnb, which we will post a video about later if you're interested. But I wanted to mention at the restaurant, we had a great experience, great food. The service was great, actually really, really great. But at the end of the night when we went to pay, we used our card, but they did not allow us to add on a tip and pay that tip with our card. So what we ended up having to do, since we have not had a chance to exchange any currency yet, we had no way to leave our waiter a tip, and I wasn't about to stiff the guy. So we had to get the manager over. He added a separate transaction for the tip itself. And so if you want to avoid that hassle, bring small change, some sort of small currency or whatever to leave for your waiter, because you certainly don't want to leave them without. And I don't know if this was at this restaurant or if this is an all across Romania theme. Our waiter did kind of make it seem like it was just a universal thing in Romania and not necessarily just a his restaurant thing. So just be prepared for that wherever you decide to dine out.
All right, so we came down here to what I believe is titled as Nuri Park, something like that. It's UNIRII. Next to this beautiful fountain, I'm sure what it's going. Look at this thing from Google Maps. It's insane. It's a really neat looking fountain from the sky, so I'm sure in the summer when I got it going, it's quite impressive. But anyway, we came here to do the free walking tour. Our guide's just over here. We're getting ready to start. All right, we're heading back to our Airbnb. We got finished with that free walking tour probably like an hour or two ago, but we just been walking around and checking stuff out. We ate at a restaurant. We got some michi and some french fries and a couple drinks for like, geez, I think it was only like $4 or $5, huh?
Yes.
And then we also got a couple of SIM cards, which is why I wanted to get on here and cover the couple of SIM cards we got. So I think for like, what was it, maybe $10, we got 2 SIM cards. And each SIM card has 80 gigabytes worth of data, and then 200 telephone minutes in Europe, and then 2,000 minutes on other networks, and then unlimited telephone on Vodafone. So if you're calling another Vodafone, unlimited. So yeah, each of those SIMs came with that amount, and they were like $5 each. It was incredible the amount of that we got for the deal. So
right, we're getting ripped off on our cellular plans in the States.
It's so crazy. We pay so much more in the States. But yeah, I just wanted to cover that. The SIM cards, grab one of those. It'll make your life a lot easier walking around, trying to find locations or trying to translate or anything. Anyway, getting back to that walking tour, I didn't want to cover too much of the walking tour while we were walking around because I didn't want to be rude to the host, and so I didn't record. We do plan on going back tomorrow though and checking out some of the spots, and we'll let you know some of the information that we learned. So we're going to be heading over there tomorrow. So Nicolae Ceausescu, when he was in power, he wanted to build this grand road that came from the Parliament building, and there were all types of older buildings in the way. In fact, neighborhoods, churches, all types of different things. And in order to make way for them, a majority of those buildings were demolished. Some of the buildings, however, they were able to save, like some of the churches. They were able to move them actually. So I'm going to head over across the street and show you how they were able to tuck a church back out of the way. He wasn't a fan of the churches, and I guess if he had his way, he probably would have had them all torn down, because the majority of them were, but the people were able to move some. And I'm going to head over there and show you how they were able to deal with some of that. Alright, so let's see. It should start coming into view as we walk here. You'll see that they've just tucked the church back here. And in fact, it was several hundred meters out into this intersection. And what they did was they lifted it and basically used like a train rail system to move it and just tuck it back here so that they could put up these, these apartment buildings or housing buildings. Pretty interesting. They did that with quite a few buildings. Pretty neat. So that building, that church I showed you, was actually on that walking tour we took yesterday, and I wanted to cover a couple of other points of interest on that walking tour. This restaurant here is actually the oldest restaurant and hotel in Bucharest. It was originally built in, what was it, 1808?
1808.
1808, yeah. Nice. And it was built by some flamboyant Armenian that was here back in the day. But yeah, pretty interesting. I was just talking with the woman yesterday when we were on our little tour, and she was saying that the rooms are actually under renovation right now, so you're unable to book currently January or February of 2020, but they're going to be opening those up soon enough, and the restaurant is open, and I've heard nothing but good things. And then we've got this little church over here we're going to head over and check out as well. So another point of interest was St. Anthony's here. Rachel's got a little bit more information from our little walk yesterday she wanted to share.
So it's obviously newly renovated, but the church is dedicated to St. Anthony, and he is the patron saint of lost things. So whether when you lose your keys, if you lose your phone, you pray to St. Anthony, he brings them back to you. That also applies to lost loves. So the tradition is that women have to come to the church for 9 Tuesdays in a row, pray, make an offering for their love to return to them. Men don't have to do anything. Men just show up. But imagine this scenario. This place is packed with single women looking for love on a Tuesday. And so, of course, where do the men show up on a Tuesday night to make their acquaintances?
And according to a couple of sites, including this sign here, this is the oldest church in Bucharest. So that's another interesting fact.
So we are here at the Carousel of Light. It's this beautiful bookstore, 4-story bookstore here in Bucharest, at the little cafe that's up on the 4th floor. And we've ordered these desserts, and we've done so because they are sugar-free. This is a honey and mango sweetened cheesecake, and the base has raisins and almonds in it, so I'm pretty excited about that. Check out the foam on this latte. Would you like some coffee with that milk? The prices, so this was 16 lei, your tea was 14 lei, and these guys were 19 lei. So if you divide that all by about 4.75, that's how you'll know what it is. So I think it total, like this was $4, $3, $4, something like that.
Not terrible for a little popular bookstore, cafe type drinks, I guess. Not terribly cheap, but not terribly overpriced. We're gonna walk about in a bit and show you a little bit of the store. We're just wandering around in this bookstore a little more. We were up on the top floor there, and when we were up there, Rachel said there was 4 stories, but we've realized now that there's a 5th story, which is this one we're on now, that has a little art exhibition, which is really neat. So we're just checking that out, and it's kind of heading on down to the exit, which is on the 1st floor there. Little idea of different things they have in here, some tea stuff, some wines and chocolates, and they had the cafe upstairs, books, all types of different little souvenirs and different things. Pretty neat to look around and see what all's in here. So here's the outside of the bookstore. It's quite beautiful on the outside. Kind of catches your eye as you're walking through. It's worth stopping in, wouldn't you say? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, if you love books and coffee and tea, there's no better spot for it.
And it's just a really clean, nice looking spot. So
yeah, the staff was really friendly too.
Right, it's worth to stop in and have a tea or something, I think. I'm not sure how interesting anyone would find this, but this was also on that tour. It was the National Bank of Romania. I was just reading about it, and I think this building itself was actually built in the 1900s, so it's not even necessarily that old, but it was something that was on the tour, and I don't remember much about what the woman told us while we were actually here, but I did find it neat that while they were erecting it, they uncovered these old ruins under here, as most old cities built on top of old ruins. There's probably several layers down there, but yeah, that was another stop along the tour, and we're just kind of walking here in the streets. They've got some people performing live over there, and everyone's just kind of shopping and heading through the streets as they go about their evening. All right, we just stopped in to check out this Vibes 19 place. My take on the menu is it's basically a burger joint, but the prices are pretty fair, actually. I would consider it one of the more pricier places to eat in the Old Town here. It's totally empty, and it's just perfect for Rachel and I right now. We're just really enjoying tucking in here after walking around, and I just wanted to cover some prices real quick. I got a burger. It was $6.75. Rachel got a plate of nachos. They were $5.25, and we got a couple of drinks, and they were like $1.50 a piece, and so I think that's really good, and I'm just really enjoying the vibe in here. It's very well put together. I think it's a beautiful place, and let's see what Rachel's got to say.
I just think that one of the best things about this place is there was nobody outside hounding us to come inside and eat. We've been propositioned, 30 times just walking around tonight in Old Town to come and eat at a different place, and so it's just refreshing to go to a place that doesn't put that kind of pressure on you.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. But yeah, we'll when our food comes out, if you've noticed in our videos, we don't really grub out and tell you how it is and all that, but we'll show you how it looks, and then when we're done, we'll let you know what we thought of it, and yeah, hopefully it's decent. All right, there goes Rachel's nachos, and my burger is looking pretty good. It was basically like a double burger with mushrooms and cheese, and these seasoned fries, I just tasted one. They were really good. But yeah, we're gonna get down, and when we head out of here, we'll let you know what we thought of the food and the overall experience. Okay, you're live.
Okay, so our tour guide told us a funny story about this building behind us. The clock up there, in particular, is what the story involves. So when Romania got its independence, they didn't have their own monarchy established. So the monarchy they got was from Germany. Now we all know that Germans are very prompt. They're very accurate on time, right? They're never late. Well, he's here in Romania, and Romania is a Latin-based culture, so they are notorious for being very late. So the story is that the new German king actually set the clock ahead of schedule 15 minutes so that the Romanians would actually show up to something on time.
Oh, we're just still wandering around trying to cover some of these sites we saw on our walking tour yesterday. We just got done eating. It was friggin' delicious, huh?
It was pretty good.
Well, your nachos
Yeah.
you weren't too impressed by, right?
They were tasty, but it came with beans, which is why I liked it as vegetarian nacho, but there was like 6 beans on a whole plate of nachos. So that's my only complaint.
You probably got the last 6 beans in the restaurant, so that's good. But no, my burger was crazy delicious. Like, we usually don't eat meat, and I probably haven't had a burger in like 2 years, so maybe that's why it was insanely good, but I was fairly impressed. But yeah, this place is pretty neat. It was completed in 1891. I'll go in a sec. It's actually, I'm glad it's night because you get a different view than most people are usually putting the video in the day, so you see the glass.
Yeah,
but
it has a different vibe during the day. It's,
right.
It's bright. The whole atmosphere changes. At night, it's just completely lined with hookah bars, and it smells like strawberries.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because everyone's just got their hookahs out.
When we came through, it like smelled like Kool-Aid, and it's not offensive like tobacco or anything, so it wasn't so bad. But everyone's just kind of in here relaxing with their buddies and having a shisha. But yeah, here's the roof. You can't really see the glass roofs, which, like I said, you know, if you want to see those, you can Google that or check out other videos. But this is a neat little how it's lit up in here at night. But tell them how this all came about, or the story behind it.
So they wanted a way to connect the old town with the bank, but this business right behind us, it was a very profitable brothel at the time. Prostitution was legal in the early 1900s, so the guy wouldn't sell. So they just had to build around it. So then it instead created this beautiful Passage that we see.
So here's the grand Parliament building that Ceausescu built.
Yep.
And wow, it's quite the building. I'll say we're standing in this parking lot where it appears as if adolescents have gathered, maybe just to hang out with their buddies and stuff. Maybe some guys meeting with their girlfriends and stuff. It's kind of rather weird because it's a Monday night, but it seems to be like a meeting point for socializing. But yeah, pretty interesting building. We didn't get a chance to go inside. I've heard that when you take the tour, it's a couple hours and you only end up seeing actually like 2% of the entire building or something like that, huh? Wasn't it something like that?
It's like an hour and a half tour, and it's such a small percentage that it's just not worth it.
But on our tour, we had a couple of questions asked and answered, and this is general information that you'll see about this Parliament building when you look it up. But a couple interesting facts is that it's the heaviest building in the world, and it's the second largest administrative building in the world. Only second to the Pentagon, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, man, this is an incredible building. And then
How many floors are underneath? Eight floors underground?
I have no idea. I don't remember that. But yeah, this boulevard is the Grand Boulevard that he had built leading up to the palace here. It's pretty interesting. He wanted to be able to basically host like giant military parades. He had visited North Korea, and after that he came back with like this grand idea to build all this. So yeah, he had, earlier I was showing you about that church. He had all the churches and all the neighborhoods and stuff torn down so that he could build this grand road that leads up to this palace here. So there you go.
Yeah, I think that it was 40,000 homes were
That were destroyed,
so that they could put up this boulevard.
And in the end, he was tried and shot on like a military barracks or something like that. They took him to trial and basically tried him for
mass murder.
Right, for mass murder, and then they also tried him for, it was something to the effect of like squandering the nation's wealth while the people starved. So they shot him in the street. It was like 106 plus bullets or something that they riddled his body with. So pretty interesting. Another shot of the Parliament building here with a better view of this grand avenue that he had heading up towards the building itself. Pretty neat. Where we were in the video with the big fountain that I was saying, look at it from Google Maps, is actually just straight down this way. So pretty cool. This little shot of the sidewalk, or at least the foot and bike path here. That is the section that we're walking on. It's actually quite large. There's some over there as well as here. But I just wanted to show the infrastructure is not terrible here. I mean, there's a little bit of flaw, but it's not terribly excessive.
I wouldn't recommend wearing high heels,
right,
at all.
But one thing I did want to say is I'm rather impressed, even in some of the back alleys in here, there isn't a lot of litter, which I find quite impressive. There's not a lot of like feral dogs and feral cats. I mean, some cats at like churches, but they put food out for them, so of course they would be there. But not a lot of like feral dogs and stuff that you would maybe see in other countries in this region of the world, or at least in Eastern Europe. So yeah, it's a little interesting thing to know. I just remembered, Rachel actually reminded me after I stopped recording there, when we first arrived from the airport, it was like 2 a.m, and there was just nobody out on the streets except for a bunch of babushkas, I'll refer to them as, a bunch of older women that you would never expect to be out at that hour cleaning the streets, but they were just like in a huge like army up and down the road with their little brooms and their little scoops and their trash cans as they moved along, keeping the streets clean. So there you go, that's their job. Maybe they take a lot of pride in it at night, and that's why you have such a nice clean area around this portion here in Bucharest. I just wanted to get a video from down here at the fountain where the whole walking tour that we were on the other day started, just so you can get an idea of the scale of this grand avenue that he had built here. It's rather impressive, the scale with this fountain here. Unfortunately, these fountains are off, but this fountain just goes on each side. Then there's this big center. So as you see here, it's off, but it would have been really awesome to see that. But yeah, when that's going, that's pretty grand. But yeah, pretty neat to see the Parliament building from down here, just how massive it is and what kind of a scale he was working with here in his head. There's a beautiful walk here along the Raul Damvovica. It's actually very beautiful with the lights reflecting on the water, and there are a lot of eateries here, so you can come have some dinner and just kind of stare out at the river here. So this is the far end of the grand street that's here in between this location and the palace back down there, or the Parliament building, I should say. But yeah, it's a beautiful walk. We just came through the intersection with the big fountain again, and there's some ducks down here on this little island, and yeah, I'm sure there's just all kinds of different food along this path here. If you're interested, come check it out. You certainly find something that's to your liking, I would imagine. Well, I figured I was heading down this way. I might as well give you the shot from the far end of this grand street here. This is the restaurant here at the far end, and then here's the river I was just talking about with all the restaurants there. And then down on that far end, as you have seen as we've come along, this is the building there. Pretty nice walk here. It's a pretty interesting stretch. All right, we just got dropped here at the train station in Bucharest. It was like Bucuresti Nord, and there was another name actually that started with the G. So one's the bus station and one's the train station. They're very close, but we had set the pin for our Uber actually to go to the bus station. Being the clever driver that he was, he asked us if we wanted to go to the train or the bus, and we told him the train, and he's like, I'm gonna take you to the train, but you guys put the directions for the bus. So be sure in the difference, I'll put in subtext down there which one is actually the train station. But yeah, we're just here now. We're gonna head in and get some tickets at the Casa de Bilete, and we are going to be heading for Brașov. So if you're interested, stay tuned to our channel. Sorry we didn't get more here in Bucharest. We were kind of in the room for a few days, not feeling too great, and it's been cold and raining, so we've just kind of been chilling. And but yeah, we hope you enjoyed the little bit of Bucharest that we did see when we got out. And if you're interested, stay tuned. Like I said, we'll be heading to Brașov. I think I might do a video of the train ride there. It's a couple hours, so that should be nice. It's supposed to be snowing in Brașov, so a little bit change of weather from, it's been clear, it rained today, but now it's going to be snowy, so we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching.